Well. It has indeed been a journey. To say that lifting weights has changed my life is a wild understatement. I feel like it's probably more accurate to say that it has given me a life, and one that I'm very grateful for too. Now, that might seem a bit dramatic, but yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is pretty dramatic. But, to me, it feels legit. Anyway, there are some things that I've learned along the way that I want to share with everyone via the medium of YouTube video. Now, this might sound a bit weird, but I'm not actually promising that this video will be helpful to you in any way, because often just hearing words isn't really enough to learn stuff. I feel like it's not until you experience something for yourself that it really registers. So maybe at some point down the line you will think back to this video and you'll think, shit, Joey D was actually right about that. So at that point, I would like you to return to this video and smash that thumbs up button, see if you play, right? Or if you're watching this video and you already feel these feels, then you can just like it now. Or if you're just watching the video at all and you're a person with at least one thumb, then that'd be great. Thanks. So the first thing I learned is you gotta woo-way that shit, man. It's gotta be about effortless action. So let me explain what I mean by that, because on its own, that means nothing. I feel like probably the biggest individual factor in whether or not somebody makes progress, probably in any area, but let's just apply it to lifting, because I'm Joe and I lift weights. The biggest contributing factor towards progress is probably just consistency, right? And so I think if you were following just a decent training program and you were consistent with it over a very long period of time, you'd probably get better results than if you had the best training program ever designed. Yeah, you'd train up in Siberia with Ivan Drago and his boys, but you were inconsistent with it. Yeah, it was start-stop, diet starts Monday kind of thing. So then, how does one achieve this long-term consistency, right? Well, I think to do anything, just in a general sense, your motivation levels have to match that required for the task, right? So harder things require more motivation. So if something is really hard and you're not really that motivated, then you're probably not going to do it. Whereas if something is pretty easy, so it doesn't require much motivation, and you're super hyped up and you're really motivated, then you probably will do it. Yeah. And so doing things just becomes trying to make these meet, right? So what you can do is either try and increase how much motivation you feel. Maybe you can watch a montage of Z's on YouTube, right? Or you can decrease, or try to decrease, the amount of motivation that a task requires, right? And often we focus on increasing our motivation, right? Now, there are of course many things where you can't really decrease the difficulty of the task and therefore the level of motivation it requires, right? So doing ultra marathons, Ironman, triathlons, whatever it is, these are just difficult things that you can't really make any easier. They do require a concerted effort, deep effort, like active effort, right? And so only highly motivated people, see David Goggins and the boys, are able to do these things. Yeah. Now, lifting weights, losing fat, building some muscle, getting in shape, staying in shape over a long period of time, it is not one of these things, right? It is certainly not something that requires this immediate big all out input of active effort. It's really just the culmination of lots and lots and lots and lots of really just barely noticeable spikes in effort, right? And so we can all probably agree that going to the gym on a Tuesday afternoon, it's not very hard, right? Now, you might think that going to the gym 5 times a week for 15 years straight does sound hard, but it's not really, and it doesn't have to be, because you can make it easier for yourself in two ways, right? The first way is practically, making things literally easier for yourself. I don't know, maybe you meal prep, maybe you pack your gym bag the night before so it's there, whatever. Maybe you sleep in Gymshark gear so that you can fucking get out the door. Maybe you buy a house within a mile radius of a gym. I'm joking, but they're examples, right? So practical steps to make everything easier so that you can just commit all these things to habit, right? So that everything can just seamlessly integrate with your daily life and schedule, right? That's one way you make things easier. Now there's the kind of less literal sense of just adopting an attitude, right? An attitude of flowing through the motions, right? Going to the gym isn't something that I do, right? It's something that I am, in the sense that like it is just a normal part. It's like breathing in, breathing out, man. It's just a normal part of my everyday life. So I'm just flowing with the motions, like almost on autopilot, right? I don't need to be hyped up and motivated to go to the gym. I just need to literally be awake, right? So think about, this is gonna be cheesy, man. Think about a stream flowing downriver, right? There's a lot of action, but there ain't a lot of effort, because it's just, this is just what I do, mate. I'm a stream, yeah. I hope you like this metaphor. Right, let's carry on with the water analogy, right? We'll move to the ocean, right? So waves aren't what brings the sea closer to the shore, right? It's the tide, right? And so you're just going with the tide, mate. And I feel like that is an actual mindset that you can adopt. That might have been bullshit, man, but I think it's accurate. That's how I feel about stuff. All right, let's move to the next one. The second thing I want to talk about is, right, how should I put this? You can never catch the horizon, right? But that doesn't mean that you're never going to be satisfied. So obviously I'm just saying abstract metaphors here that mean nothing without context. So let me give you that context and tell you what I'm trying to say, right? So I'll start from the top. I distinctly remember, as if it was yesterday, like crystal clear in my head, standing in my bedroom at the age of maybe like 16 and looking in the mirror between sets of bicep curls, like that's probably accurate technique for the time, with my Argos dumbbells, and looking at my physique and thinking, you know what, when my physique looks normally how it currently looks when I've got a pump, when I'm pumped up from a workout, that's when I'll be satisfied, right? That's when I'll be happy with it. That's when we'll have got there. Yeah, we'll have made it there. So a year went by, 2 years, 5, 6, 7 years, and I kept saying this to myself, even though I did get to that point and further. But I kept looking at myself and thinking, "You look sick with a pump. Sick, mate." When you look like that normally, when you haven't got a pump, that's when you be satisfied, right? And after a while, took me a while, because I'm not the sharpest tool in the box. What the tools going? Tool shed? Anyway, took me a while to realise, but eventually I thought, maybe you're just on this hamster wheel, man. Maybe this is another one of life's hamster wheels, just another hedonic treadmill, yeah, where you are just on this like constant quest for like the next level up, under this illusion that the next level will bring some kind of satisfaction, right? And then you just keep chasing it, boom, 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 forever, right? Maybe you are just chasing the pump like the horizon, right? So you get closer, it gets further away, right? Maybe you're just a donkey walking down Blackpool Pleasure Beach, mate, with a carrot in front of it to make it walk, like on a stick, on its hat thing. You know what I'm saying, right? And maybe you're never going to be satisfied, right? Maybe that's just how it is. Maybe it's just the way of the world. Maybe it's human nature. However, the second realization of this story is that that's actually not true, and you actually will reach a point where you are satisfied, right? Where you look at yourself and you're like, do you know what? I'm probably done. Like, this is probably enough. I think I'm pretty happy, because I hope we're all mature enough to, and like not, what's the opposite of cynical? I don't know. I hope we're all mature enough for me to be able to like say that completely without ego, my physique is sick. Like if I was a stranger and I was looking at it, I'd be like, that's sick. I literally would be like, that is sick, right? Now, if you think that that's me being whatever, like if you think that I'm saying that with some kind of egotistical notion, then whatever, right? But I'm trying to, that's objective to me, right? When I think about where I started, how long I've been like lifting, how consistent I've been, you know, the fact that I'm the last true natty on planet Earth, I'm just kidding. You know, I'm satisfied, right? I did arrive, right? And I feel like everyone can probably get there and be satisfied, and it's probably more about a gradual mindset shift than it is about actually reaching a particular point with your physique. But it's not just your physique, is it? Because it's going to be everything, right? I feel like that probably maps onto like every area of life. I feel like all of these do. That's why I make the video, because if it was just about lifting weights, I probably wouldn't make it, because I find it fucking boring, right? So that's the second thing, man. You're not going to catch the horizon. Like, do I still want to be a bit bigger, a bit leaner? Yeah. How much bigger and leaner? Probably like to look how I look now, but with a pump, right? But I'm not, there's no urgency. I don't need to get there. I'm already satisfied, right? So, you know, you can get that satisfaction without being the hamster. Just, you know. All right, let's do the next one. So the third thing I want to talk about is motivation. So motivation comes in waves, right? And so by all means, ride that wave, yeah? Surf that shit. But just be aware that motivation is inherently wave-like in nature. That is the essence of motivation. It's the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, right? And I probably could have said that way more succinctly, but I'm going to elaborate. So I have talked about motivation quite a bit on this channel before, because I feel like it's just massively misrepresented by this weird online self-improvement, hustle, work 25 hours a day or you're lazy culture, you know what I mean? And I think we should clear that shit up. So I think motivation is a double-edged sword, right? If you have it, it's great, because hopefully you can then like harness that, point it in the direction in which you see fit, and utilize it to, you know, spur you on to make some kind of progress in some aspect of your life, whatever you see fit, right? That's great, by all means, like, do that. However, motivation only exists, right? It's only a thing, right? It only exists because it doesn't exist, right? Sometimes. That might be the most profound shit I ever said, right? So, as with a lot of things, motivation is just like a relative thing, right? Because if you were in a constant state of being motivated, there wouldn't be a word for it. It wouldn't exist. There's only a word for it because sometimes you don't feel like it, because there's contrast between like highly motivated, not motivated, and like just normal, right? That's the reason why there's a word for it. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be defined. You wouldn't be saying to yourself, oh, I feel really motivated now. You'd just be saying, this is normal. This is just my normal state of being, right? And so some people will literally sit there and ask themselves, how can I make myself motivated to do this, right? They'll actually think like, right, I'm going to try and motivate myself to do something. And I feel like if you're asking that question, there's something wrong, man, because you're putting in like an extra middleman there, because then getting motivated, like becoming motivated, becomes a task, becomes something that you've got to dedicate like effort and energy to. And like you could really just cut out that middleman and just, instead of like trying to get motivated, you know, like watching your Z's videos or whatever, watching Joey D videos, instead of trying to get motivated, you just take that energy and just try and do the thing that you're trying to get motivated to do. Like just direct it that way. And just don't even think about motivation, like just don't even consider it as a thing, right? So I'm just saying that it's certainly useful when you have it, and of course capitalize. But if we can go back to like, let's go back to my tide and sea analogy. Do you know what I mean? It's like waves will help, but it's the tide, you know, you're moving with the tide. Oh, that's cheesy. All right, last but not least, there is always going to be somebody with better genetics than you. Now, I could just leave that there, right? Obviously, when I talk about genetics, I'm about in the context of like going to the gym and stuff, right? You might walk into the gym and be like, damn, he's got a bigger chest than me. Oh, shoot. I haven't got the biggest chest in the whole gym. I hate myself, right? But that can apply like across life, the broad spectrum of life, right? It's going to be someone who's better looking than you. It's going to be someone who's got more money than you. It's going to be someone who's just born into greater fortune than you, whatever it is, right? And so I could just leave that there and say, well, that's just how life is. Just get on with it, mate. Just don't cry about it, and just, as ever, control what you can and accept the rest, right? And I'm not known for my religious quotes, but I'm going to give you one today, right? Because it is one that I actually like, right? So I don't think this is from the Bible. I think it's from some kind of prayer or something, right? It goes something like this. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. How sick is that as a quote, right? So you might think that I'm about to go off in some like diatribe about just this big self-acceptance rant on how you should never compare yourself to others, right? Don't do it, it's bad. Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I don't actually care if you compare yourself to others or not, because I think in and of itself, it's not an inherently bad thing, is it? It's never the thing, it's always your reaction to the thing, right? And so generally comparing yourself to others gets a bad rap, right? If I post a picture on Instagram and I say, and it's like an unflattering picture, I'll get more points for that. And I say like, oh, you should never compare yourself to others, and like maybe I'll get extra points actually if I say, what is it? No one is you, and that is your power. Oh, damn. So profound. So wise, right? So obviously that's going to go down great and everyone's going to be like, yeah, that's it, you're so right. But like, think about it. Yeah. The only reason that comparing yourself to others has got such a bad rap is because you just automatically assumed to be this emotionally fragile little baby that just cannot cope with the psychological implications of like someone being better looking than you, or being in better shape, or having more money than you. Like, I feel like it's a pretty low standard. That's a pretty low bar. Like, I don't feel like I would, lack the emotional resilience to get over the fact that someone's just like super good looking or something. Actually, when I see like super good looking people, or like mad rich people, or mad talented people, or whatever it is, or people winning the Euro Millions or some shit, all I can feel is like kind of glad that at least someone on planet Earth is getting that mad human experience. Like, I think, what's it like to be a solid 10 out of 10, man? What is that like? I feel like someone should experience that, right? And I'm just glad that someone is experiencing it. So I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, right? Further to that, comparing yourself to others might actually have a positive effect in some instances, right? It goes back to the whole wisdom to know the difference, right, between things that you can and can't change. Like, I might open up Instagram, right, and then I'm just greeted with Mike Thurston's bulbous, throbbing pectoralis major, right, in my face, just an inner chest, like the Grand Canyon there, and I might think, that's sick, mate. And then I might go and smash me bench press. Do you know what I mean? That's a perfectly like reasonable sequence of events. Like, or I might be like, oh my god, my chest isn't as big as that. Oh god, mom. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not trying to belittle people who do feel bad about themselves. If you have like issues with like insecurity and shit, then all I'm saying is just unfollow people, right? Then, you know what I mean? Unfollow everyone that makes you feel bad, of course, right? All I'm saying is that I'm not saying that it can never have a bad effect. I'm just saying that it doesn't always. Do you know what I mean? Now, let me get back to the actual point in hand, right? A lot of life is just a lottery, right? I partly feel like I've got a YouTube channel with 417,000 subscribers, partly because of luck, right? So there's stuff that I've put some effort in, of course. Partly it's because of luck, right? A lot of things are luck, right? It's a big component of life. And so, like, people are gonna have better fortune than you, whether that's, through genetics or, anything else. But you will only construe that as a negative thing. If you live in this mad egotistical world where you imagine that you're supposed to be the best looking and the richest and have the biggest biceps in the world, like, I don't know what people expected, man. Did you think that you were going to be born and literally have the best physique on planet Earth? Like, what's going on, man? So what I'm trying to say is, it's not personal, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's say me and Rob Lipsett do a paid Instagram post for the same company, right? And let's say we have the same amount of followers and get the same amount of likes, right? Then I found out that he got paid more than me. So what's that got to do with me? Like, nothing is personal, man. Just nothing's personal, man. That's just the general takeaway point, man. It's not personal. It's not about you. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Not about you. It's not about me. It's not about it. It's not personal, right? Nothing's personal. I hope I said that enough. See you later.
Jordan Lenny is my hero.